Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. Today I'm going to be reacting to Glitter and Lasers. I haven't reacted to Anna O'Brien in forever because she doesn't typically do long form content, and that's typically when I like to react to her. I just like to see like her prepackaged narrative and all that stuff of what she's doing. Basically, I just like to look at that because I know it's very constructed and I think it does say a lot. I think her shorts, they're more like random, which that definitely has its own benefit, I guess, because it's more like in the moment. But I don't know much about what she's been doing except that she did like a lifting competition. I did react to her like doing fitness stuff, I believe, like back in December. And I have not kept up with anything. So I'm just going to say that flat out. I'm just going to react to this video. We're going to see how it goes. All I heard so far in the comments, or what I read in the comments so far, is that the music was overstimulating and that people hate that she's sponsored by BetterHelp, and that's about it. So other than that, she has her glitter and her lasers in the comments. They're cheering her on. So we're going to go ahead and listen. I have not watched this at all, so I have no idea what she's going to say, but let's go ahead.
This feels kind of awkward because I haven't done it in so long. I've been MIA, and there's actually been a really good reason. So let's just get into it. Oh, but before I do, this video is actually sponsored by BetterHelp. So this right here is me when I was 13. And I was so unsure of myself. I just wanted like any other teenager to belong, to feel
Sorry. I'm so mean. I'm not mean, but that comment about the music, I'm going to try my best to edit it out because I'm sure it's copyright to all hell. But it is really annoying. Um, so I'm just laughing at that. But okay. Okay, Anna. Oops. I always mess this up. It's my mouse. It literally is. I probably should change the batteries.
I guess popular. And if I could speak to that version of myself right now, I would tell her that you have absolutely no clue how strong you're going to become. You have no idea how much life you're going to live. You don't know it yet, but one day you're going to become kind of a badass. I think what nostalgia can do sometimes is make us miss more than just a
This
moment.
is so on trend. This is so like on millennial trend. I don't know what the hell's going on in the millennial sphere, but nostalgia is like extremely like loud at the moment. Um, it was especially like going on pretty much at the beginning of March. It was like a lot. Even I was not immune. Like I was being nostalgic. It's really weird. I don't even know. I don't even know, but she's on that trend. It's very millennial. It's giving millennial. Anna.
It makes us miss almost like a feeling of when things felt easier, like we belonged, like we had more connections before life got busy, before grief, before complicated relationships.
Before E fall by the letter D, destroyed relationships. Before BINGEDIS order affected your brain and turned you crazy. Am I filling in some of the gaps there? For you guys that watch my channel often, I would say she's a clicker in terms of severity. So I use The Last of Us zombies to describe like different types of people within the DIS ordered world. And she's a clicker, which is just somebody who's very severe, extremely reactive, can't handle peace, that type of person. It's not good. It's kind of like deadly, but she's very much in that. Um, she would be a bloater if she actively promoted the issue and tried to recruit others, but she doesn't do that. It's more about her issue. So it's just her, but she likes to experience pain in the form of like very harsh workouts, or she'll do like embarrassing experiences. She'll put herself in a situation directly where her body will upset her or trigger her, basically create anxiety. So she creates situations in order to trigger the coping mechanism, aka BING. So she goes through something so that she will then need to engage in the behavior.
Before growing up. And what I've
But
learned,
you could see that would be hard to live with, or hard to have relationships with somebody like that. So she maybe is reflecting on a time when the issue wasn't as bad. So I can understand that. I've done that before. I was a clicker too. So I understand what that's like. I really did a lot of that type of reflection during the panini because I was staying home and staying safe. And it really forced me to reflect on things over the scope of my life and how things had gotten worse and how I'd acted in relationships and stuff. I wonder if she's having something similar. I don't know why now, but if it leads to some kind of shift, that would be great. But how likely is that, right? Not very likely.
is that therapy can help with that. And that's not by making the past disappear, by the way. It's by allowing you to learn how to grieve and process those things and not get stuck there. BetterHelp makes starting therapy a lot easier.
Okay.
If you're thinking
So
about
that's her
it,
ad.
you can actually take a quiz, get matched to a provider, and if it's not the right fit, you can switch at any time for no cost. It's a super flexible way to start.
Well, I
And you
know
can
so many
communicate in the way
people.
that's easiest for you, whether that is text, phone.
I know so many people have a huge issue with BetterHelp. I just hope that if she uses it, that she actually like talks about the E fall by letter D.
Matters. But so
That's
does
what
the
I hope.
future you're building right now. Now, speaking of the future we're building right now, I have been doing a lot of work on that. And that is why I haven't been here, because I needed to go, as the youth of
Sorry,
this
I'm just
generation
laughing.
say.
I'm laughing because the music is really loud and obnoxious. I really hope that it's okay. If it sounds weird, I did the best I could. That's all I can tell you.
Touch grass. I feel like it's very easy as a creator to lose a sense of what is real. A lot of people yell a lot of things at you, both positive and negative, all day, every day. And it's hard to sort through that rationally. It's hard to hear yourself in the sea of all those voices. I just wanted to hear myself again. And I think that's what I've really been working on and am proud of, kind of the progress I've made. I also really wanted to build some significant offline relationships and even like a community that.
So I wonder about that too, because within the DIS order, especially BING, there are some people that have dissociative aspects. And to hear her talk about that, there is that when it's very severe, you can be delusional about more things than just like your diet, your body, things like that, your behavior around consumption. It can bleed into other areas. And so it's just interesting to hear her say that. Now, one of the things that happens a lot, though, within the issue is what I call false recovery. So there's a lot of like telling people that you're getting better or that you're getting out of it, you're getting out of the behavior, but you're not actually doing that. And you can usually tell, as somebody who has recovered, I can usually tell by the mindset. And I'm not seeing any red flags or green flags so far. I'll put it to you that way. It's very like hidden. It's giving hidden. So I can't really tell at this moment. We'll see as it continues. I'm just really like dissecting everything. I'm trying to get as much out of this as I can because that's what we got to do. That's all she's giving us. She's giving me 8 minutes.
Doesn't exist around who I am online. I love this community and I love the amazing things that I've been able to do for and with this community and because of this community, honestly. But it is still virtual, and many of you I will never get to meet in real life. And I was missing some of that deeper connection that really only comes from face to face communication. And honestly, if anything, over the past several months, I've realized how valuable in person interaction with people is. And I had not been doing enough of that. That's my fault. It's so easy to get caught up in this
Yeah,
stuff.
it's very interesting that she wasn't. I think if she is actually seeing people more, I think that it is a positive thing within BINGE. It can de-escalate things, like you're more in real life, right? Like there is this tendency for very, very big people that have this issue to kind of shut away from life or not be a part of things anymore because I've noticed and experienced myself, to be honest, that some of us that have the BINGE issue, we also have avoidant attachment style. And so we can fear commitment or fear like being too enmeshed in other people. Not like I'm not trying to like get all into my business, but I'm more of a fearful avoidant, so I kind of can switch back and forth. I feel like she's more avoidant, like period. Um, so I think I could see her like not wanting to deal with anybody or like when you're especially severe in the issue, you have this desire to control every aspect of your life all the time and have almost zero spontaneity caused by other people. Like, I think for her, it would be okay if she was spontaneous, but it wouldn't be okay if anybody else was. I think it would freak her out. And so I think that that's something that happens too. I relate to her a little bit with that. I had that experience in 2020 where I had complete control over my daily life and routine and everything, and I didn't have any spontaneity. Of course, it was horrible and it was so depressing and awful. And it was basically where my DIS order led me. And so I wonder if she had that experience too. If so, then maybe she could get out. You know, if she's starting to take directions. I don't want to have too much hope because I really don't, to be honest, but I don't want to be super negative either. What she's saying is actually decent. Now, if it's real or not, I don't know. I don't know if I believe it.
This world. It's so easy to. And I'm not discrediting online communication. They can be super powerful tools for change, but there's just something different about sitting with someone and laughing with them and feeling that like raw energy from the person you're with. And I built like a little family. It's been nice to feel like there's a space where I'm just Anna, and I will always also be glitter and lasers, but it is such a small part of who I am that it's good to be myself fully. And it's so weird to say that because it's not like I've showed up on the internet as anything other than myself at any time. But
Yeah,
again,
but that's not what you're saying. So, okay, we're getting into some lies here. That's like a contradiction. So, what I would say, again, I'm only comparing because that's all I got to go on. Like I said, I haven't seen a lot of her stuff, but this channel is activistic. So, it's not just me. I'm not fake on it, but I do keep some things in clutch. I do share some things too, but some of my attitude and some of how I am, it is activistic. So especially if I like, I was gonna say like I come across as more hardcore online, but I don't think that's true. Never mind. I can't really put on an act, to be honest. I can't. But in terms of like, it's just what I share or not, basically that kind of thing. Um, because I try to keep it professional. Like I remember that this is not a diary. It can seem like that sometimes, but if somebody were to say like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know that about you," I wouldn't be surprised. But who I am, like my personality, how I talk, all that stuff, it's pretty much exactly the same. I just, I've told you guys many times, I do like offensive humor, and I don't typically do that on this channel because it's distracting or not professional, basically. So just know it's me with a little bit of a filter. So if I were to say that, I feel like, well, I wouldn't even say that though, but I don't know. I don't really believe her. She lost me there. I'll give you that. She lost me.
Yeah, and the camera only captures so much of my life. And it's
Okay.
creates a lack of depth in the understanding of me by both people that like me and people that don't like me. And I'm appreciative of that depth now. If anything, it's made me
Yeah.
appreciate that diversity of who I am. There's been a lot of conversation still about me, and I'm sure that someone is going to watch and react to this video because that's what always happens when I post anything. Even when I think it's the most boring stuff on the planet, there's always something that gets said or done or torn apart.
Okay. Well, yes. And she doesn't like that she can't control that, which you know, it's somewhat relatable for a lot of people, but it's also very DIS ordered. Like one of the main aspects of all of the E followed by the letter D's is you want to be able to control how others see you. It's so foundational to the DIS order that that's why like your body image is so important in it, because you feel like if you can shift this or if this shifts, then it'll change how other people see you, which it's true to a certain extent, but it's often way over exaggerated within the E followed by the letter D world. But all I'm saying is I could see why it bothers her so much when people criticize her. That being said, a lot of the people that I've watched that watch her, they're not like wanting her to unalive or anything. It's not like that serious. It's just like they want some honesty, some integrity, especially like brand integrity or brand like transparency, which I think is fair. You know, like you should probably disclose if you're on a downsizing journey, if you're using GLP-1, for example, that would be something that people would expect, which I think is a reasonable expectation, that kind of stuff. So also people do, you know, I remember when she had that moment in Target, people want her to, like, people will criticize if you're being inappropriate. So if you're doing that for rage bait, as Gen Z would say, if you're doing that for rage bait, then fine, but you're gonna get the rage, you know. And I think that she vacillates a lot with that, which I think is typical in BINGE. You see that with Amberlyn Reed too, who's also a clicker. There's the vacillation of I care that everybody likes me, but I don't at all, and I want to be super inappropriate. And so it's like you go back and forth. And I think I used to feel that way too, to a certain extent. And it's kind of like your body just gets kind of so fucked up, and your brain is like so messed up from bingo, BINGE, that, and then you have fatty liver too, and you just kind of sometimes you feel like you're drunk all the time. Basically, I called it the hypohaze a lot on my channel, but you get very hypothyroid and you just are in like a haze. It's like you're drunk. And then depending on where somebody's at in the cycle, I'm talking about like very severe, okay? Like I have to disclaim that. Depending on where somebody is in the BINGE cycle, so whether they're in the reductive part of it, the body hate part of it, or the overconsumption part, they'll have different moods or different swings, which you can actually predict it. And I've seen people like map it out with Foodie Beauty where they'll like they start to predict her cycles. So if you want to look at that, if you like are really like obsessed with like a girl world creator and you want to see the cycle and track it, you can, and it becomes that predictable. So yeah, especially in people where the whole channel becomes about their DIS order, which I think all of the above are that way. Um, so it's it's something else. I'll tell you that much. It's something else. But it can. I will say this. I was very like, I guess, erratic or unstable throughout the severity of my issue as well. And when I got better, I felt so bored. It was so hard when I stabilized in 2023. I basically stabilized, and my reputation did get better at that time because I started to act more appropriately. But it was really difficult. And I don't know if any of these girls would actually go through with it because it's very like you feel you feel all that shame again. It's like a sobering up feeling. It's really weird. But it happens and you feel very ashamed of things that you've done and stuff like that. So I think if they ever got better, they would feel so embarrassed. And I think that that could be part of why they won't. So I try to like, I'm just trying to educate on the issue basically. So I think that's part of her struggle for sure.
About it, and it's kind of like something that I've just come to expect, which is, a little sad. I'd like to think I don't care what people think about me or what they say about me, but always there will be some part of me that always cares. That's human. And I'm almost scared if that wasn't the case. Like, I think that would be just incredibly unhealthy, if you didn't have some type of reaction to what people felt about you, both positive and negative.
Well, I think there's a DIS ordered response and then there's a more normal response. The DIS ordered response is being like hyper obsessed with control and freaking out, lashing out, acting erratic, shifting your consumption behaviors depending on what's going on or what you're not controlling. That type of like visceral clicker like reaction, which is what I'm talking about here, that's DIS ordered. If it's more like I'm upset or I'm kind of irritated or a little anxious, like think about the intensity of it. It shouldn't be that intense. But again, like I remember one time she did a live stream on Instagram where she was looking for hate. She wanted to be hated and people didn't hate her enough, so she got off the live. So I think she's not like honest, I guess, or like not honest with herself, I guess. And again, I can understand some of those avoidant tendencies. Sometimes you want to fight because you don't want people to be close. It's pretty typical, but again, it really it's unfortunate when that attachment style gets caught up in BINGE because you use your weight to create distance too. And it can be incredibly difficult to break. And then when you do start to downsize, then you feel open to the world and stuff like, and that's stuff that I've dealt with. But I'm just like, whatever, I'm not avoiding anymore. That's how I feel, especially this year. I'm just like, whatever happens, happens. Like, I've lived that life of trying to shut everything out. I've lived that life of trying to run from everything. It didn't make me any happier. I'm a busted bitch in my 30s and it's time to grow up. That's basically how I feel. And let's see the other side of life. Let's see what happens. Whatever happens, happens. It's not in my control. And that's really how I deal with it. But I know that that's a really hard thing to do. And when somebody is as severe as a lot of the girls, I don't know if they can ever do that. And I think like Amber Lynn Reed, she might be the opposite. She might be more of anxious. She's more clingy in a sense, or at least fearful. So she has that mix, in my opinion. But anyways, it's interesting to look at attachment style, especially within severe BINGE, because you have the emotional control of a toddler. So it really comes out a lot. And I do think, regardless, when you have severe attachment issues, I think you need to work through that, whether it's through therapy or on your own, whatever you need to do, you need to deal with it. I had to. So I'm just telling y'all, it's a huge part of it.
But I think what I've learned is that not every person's perspective of me has an equal value, because a lot of times people's perspectives of us carry baggage from that individual. So it's not even necessarily a perspective of you, it's a perspective of 20 relationships they've had to people that they feel are similar to you, but may or may not be. And that's why relationships are incredibly complex. That's why they're confusing. That's why people do things that don't make sense, because we always look at it
Well,
as
and I'm sure that she's had that so many times with other people where she's probably projected onto other people, and that is also really difficult when you have trauma, you have stuff going on. It's really difficult to make things work, even like for some people on a friendship level. It can be really hard. And especially when you have the E fall by letter D involved, and it just kind of like amplifies everything. Like you think when you're in it, you subconsciously believe that it's helping you through your trauma or it's helping you through, but it's actually making it worse. And it's actually not enabling you to get over it. So it perpetuates forever. And if you deal with it, then you can actually get out. It puts less pressure on the DIS order. So it's really important to deal with the trauma the best that you can. And it's really important to weight normalize. It helps you think more clearly. Because when you're so big or too small, I'll put it to you that way, it does affect your brain, and it's really hard to get clarity in your brain. And it's hard to like actually address trauma. So it's a very difficult issue. I just really, really push for people to never get this severe. If you are this severe, you have to fight it like hell every day until you're out. For me, it took 6 years of fighting to get out, from 2014 to 2020, 2020 being the last moment. And then I was out, and then now I'm 6 years down the line. I'll be 6 years in October since I last had a bingo, since I last had a binge. And I'm in my vanity weight era. So my health concerns are not there. I've done a lot of deep psychological work throughout the whole process. And today it's just like these little things. It's like all I'm dealing with now is, okay, I'm introverted. I need to still be present. Oh my gosh, such a crazy issue. Like, as if it isn't the most typical thing in the world. Or for you guys who are into MBTI, I'm dealing with a lot of perceiver fatigue. So I'm a judger. It's hard for me to deal with spontaneity. And so I'm dealing with that and like loosening up a bit and trying to find more balance. But that is so like light of an issue. It's like nothing. Like, if my biggest issues now are working on being more outgoing or working on showing up and working on being more flexible, I've really come very far. So very, very typical issues at this time. But again, it took me 6 years to get out, and it took me 6 years from not binging at all to get to here. So 6 years to get out, 6 years of recovery. Here we are. And now I'm a basic bitch. Through recovery, you too can become a basic bitch.
one interaction, but the reality is it's a sum of experiences they've had in their life that's driving their behavior. And I'm not responsible for all of those experiences. So I've
Okay.
really learned to find where I value feedback and where I value perspective and tune everything else out. And that doesn't mean that I'm immune to it. Some days it still gets me because I am human. I'm just learning balance. and I'm learning perspective. I think I've always known these things. I just am seeing them clearer now. And like I said, it's so easy to get caught up in the noise. It's so because we only hear the people who scream. And probably the most influential people in your life aren't going to scream. They're going to whisper. I am still very imperfect. And I will continue to be imperfect until the day I die because I'm human. And I think the demand for perfection online is like just entirely unrealistic. Like, if anything, lifting has taught me that progress is the
That can be true. People can't expect perfection. Um, but also, too, when you choose to do things publicly, like even for me, I chose to become an activist. Sometimes expectations of an activist are crazy. I'm going to be real about it. But sometimes you have your blessings, you have your graces in activism too. So in you're supported as well. So it's its own journey. It's not for everybody, but as far as for her, like she's an entertainer, it's tough, you know? It's a tough thing. There's love, there's hate, there's fame, there's judgment, there's criticism. That all goes into it. And she chose it, you know? And if she's trying to be entertaining and she's not entertaining, then that's also a problem, you know? Like, I'm glad I don't have those pressures. I have my own pressures with what I'm trying to do, but that's every job. Every job has things about it that suck. Every job has things about it that are good. And we choose it. So if you chose it, you chose it. She could quit tomorrow, you know. She doesn't want to, which I don't necessarily want her to. I'm just saying she has the power to do that. But when you put things out there, when you are doing medical misinformation, even if it's due to your own issue, you're kind of blurring the lines of reality. Even if they're blurred to yourself, you're doing it publicly. And people have a right to criticize that. And I do think they should. I've criticized it as well. I think it's important that we criticize these things because people need to answer that stuff with a healthy level of skepticism. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that people do that because oftentimes people don't care enough about these issues. So sometimes you got to give Girl World some claps. You know, it's good that they push reality about the weight and things like that. I think that's a good thing. It's one of the few groups that do. Like I said, in the United States, especially, nobody gives a fuck about health at all. And a lot of people believe lies around weight and eating behaviors and things like that. And it's really not good. It's really bad. So, any group that's putting some clarity into the situation, I appreciate it. Even if it comes in the form of this, I appreciate it.
the real goal, that you're always in striving to be better. But if you chase perfection, you're just never going to be happy because it's not real. In
True.
the words of Ben Folds, there is always someone cooler than you. And that is
It's also very common to have perfectionism within E followed by letter D, or as I call it on my channel, the toxic ritualistic. It's very, very common to have perfectionism. It's also common in avoidance too. So I'm pretty sure I'm clocking her with that. But yeah,
factual. I don't think the people who make videos about me actually probably even care about me. I think they care about making money. And
sure. Could be part of it. I care about it for activistic purposes. I care about what you say for that purpose. And I think it's important to show people how this looks, especially outside of a fat acceptance context. So I appreciate that.
once I kind of figured that out, you know, it became very clear to me why this content is made. And I'm just not going to do that in return. There have been a lot of videos made where I could refute a lot of the things in it, but I'm just not that person. it doesn't even matter at this point because the people who have made that content are just committed in making money and they're just going to put together whatever storyline sells the most. But it is a lot of work to produce a longer form content, and sometimes I just don't have the time. I am going to try to do a couple hauls because I know y'all just love the hauls, and I've had so many messages about people asking for hauls. And I think it would be fun to do them again, but they're going to be done in like the low budget OG version because that's what I have time for. I guess
Well, I think as a content creator, so content creator to content creator, something that motivates me when I was dealing with some criticism or dealing with struggles, especially activistic struggles, they come up, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't have any credibility right now. I don't know why. Or, oh my gosh, I really have to prove this point. It's really hard to prove, right? Or I have to fight this like hell every day, or like I'm fucking tired, or whatever that comes up. Something that helped me is thinking about the people that do love your content, that do show up all the time or every day. Like, I think about you guys all the time. And for me, it's like, I don't want to let you down, which I know is kind of gay to say, but I don't. So it's, which again, that was maybe an avoidant thing of me. I'm like, oh, that's gay. But I don't. So I show up. Sometimes I've showed up when it's ugly. Sometimes I've showed up when I was slurping tea. I'll never forget on my channel, I had a Teagate moment where all the misophonia people freaked out over it. And I was like, you bitch. I was so pissed. I was like, you bitch. I'm just kidding. But hey, I don't really do it anymore. So, but at the time, I was freezing and I needed tea. And it was like, I was going to slurp or the video wasn't happening. So it's like, but you kind of like look at those things in retrospect, like I do anyways. I look at those moments in retrospect and I think it's funny. Uh, and, you know, I don't know. It's cheesy to say, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't think I would have sitting where I'm at now versus like when I started this. As hard as it's been, I'm glad I experienced everything I did. I've always say it's been one of the most, it's been like one of the greatest joys of my life to do this work. And it continues to be. And when you really love something like that, or you have a passion, it's not just about what other people think about it. It's the love of doing it. It's the love of the craft or the love of the work. Like for me, I love this activism. I love it. I live and breathe it. I wake up every day, right? And I think about it every day. And it's like being able to take something so shitty in my life or so horrible and then get over that and then hopefully inspire or help others to get out of that and then activistically attack it with all the rage of my Scorpio rising, because I cannot stand the issue. I can't stand it. But being able to use that and transmute that anger or transmute those feelings into action every single day, it's been very powerful. And it's how I deal with my survivor's guilt too, if I'm going to be real about it. Because I wasn't supposed to be here, It got that bad. So, and I think when you think about things and you do appreciate how far you've come, you do appreciate that kind of stuff, it can help you move forward as well, because the issues I had today are nothing like the issues I had 3 years ago, which are nothing like the issues I had 6 years ago. And that is such a blessing. So if you love it, you love it. You'll still show up. Because approval, the crowd, it comes and goes. And especially in a public field, people are fickle. But you have your supporters, and I think you show up for them. That's my approach. And especially within activism, approval is not required. So it's not always important that I'm getting approval. But yeah, you just gotta figure out, you just gotta do what you're doing, you know? I don't know. I don't know if she likes it that much because she's talking so much about the negative side of it. But I think that that's part of it too. It's like she might be using it as a part of her DIS order because if she only focuses on the negativity, that's a bad sign. That's a sign of like, I do this to get triggered. I do this to feel pain. I do this to engage with the coping mechanism, which is not good. And in severe levels, you can base your whole life around this. I've talked about this a lot on my channel. Like you can choose bad partners. You can choose a job you hate. You know, you can refuse to quit a job you hate. These types of things, like, because it comes down to, especially in severe levels, it comes down to self-hatred and self-harm. So it's not good if she's always focused on the negativity. Like, even on my worst moments, I was always thinking about my viewers that would miss me if I was gone, you know? And I was thinking about the cause on an even higher level, thinking about what I'm fighting for and how it doesn't matter if I'm getting approval or not. It's beyond that because a lot of times I don't. You know, people that are in the issue, they don't want to recover very often. So it is tough. It's tough work. But, you know, I understand it. I really do. I really do. So, anyways, it's enough of that. She's almost done.
I'm just popping on to say I'm coming back. Not as loudly as I was before. And there'll be some hauls in the future. That's pretty much it. And I just enjoyed chatting with you today.
Okay, that's it. So I enjoyed chatting with y'all today as well. I hope that that was something. This was kind of like not much, but I just want to go ahead and give a bit of a refresher, maybe introduce some of you guys to these concepts if you don't know about this or if you've never seen me before. So with that, I hope you'll subscribe and stick around and learn how to fight the zombies. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.